The first week after stores close, what really happens? You wake up and the world feels quiet. Too quiet. You head to the store for milk, but the automatic doors don't slide open. You peer through the glass, and for the first time in your life, the shelves aren't just low, they are skeletal. Most people think the end of the world starts with a bang. It doesn't. It starts with a closed sign. Today, we aren't talking about zombies or aliens. We are talking about the terrifyingly fragile reality of our just-in-time delivery system. If the trucks stop moving today, society has a countdown timer that no one can pause. This is exactly what happens day by day during the first 7 days after the stores close forever. Are you actually ready or just lucky? Before we dive into day one, we have to understand the myth of the grocery store. We treat these buildings like infinite pantries, but they are actually just temporary staging areas. Modern logistics works on a system called just-in-time delivery. This means a store only carries enough inventory to last 48 to 72 hours. They rely on a constant stream of trucks arriving every single night. If that stream breaks due to a cyber attack, a fuel crisis, or a natural disaster, the countdown begins. You aren't living in a world of abundance. You are living in a world that is always 3 days away from empty. Day one is the denial phase. The first 24 hours are defined by one powerful psychological state: denial. In our modern world, we've been conditioned to believe that every problem has a technical solution. On day one, the average person assumes it's a temporary glitch, a power outage, a regional strike, or a logistics error. The atmosphere is strange. You'll see crowds gathering in front of locked gates, staring at their phones, refreshing news feeds that might not be updating. Most people spend this day waiting for things to go back to normal. This is the biggest mistake you can make. While the masses are waiting for the open sign to flip, the window for easy preparation is slamming shut. If you aren't using these first 24 hours to secure your home, top off your water containers, and organize your existing supplies, you've already lost your head start. On day one, the stores are closed, but the streets are still relatively safe. That won't last. Day two is when the honeymoon ends. By the second day, the just-in-time inventory system becomes a ghost. Since the trucks didn't arrive yesterday, the back rooms are officially empty. This is when the realization hits. The normalcy bias, that mental voice telling you everything is fine, starts to crack. You'll see the first signs of a secondary market. Since you can't buy anything at a register, people start trading. A neighbor might offer a case of water for a few gallons of gasoline. At this stage, things are still civil, but the tension is rising like heat before a thunderstorm. People are beginning to realize that the system isn't coming to save them today. The anxiety starts to turn into a low-level panic. You'll notice more cars on the road as people drive from town to town, desperately hoping to find one store that is still open. They are burning their most precious resource, fuel, on a gamble that usually fails. By day three, the polite society mask starts to slip. Why? Because the human body can go weeks without food, but the human brain can only go 72 hours without hope. When the realization sets in that the trucks aren't coming back, your neighbors aren't neighbors anymore. They are competitors. Here is where the rule of three turns from a survival theory into a living nightmare. Day three is statistically the most dangerous day for civilian unrest. By now, the average household has run out of fresh bread, milk, and eggs. But more importantly, the infrastructure begins to wobble. First, consider the water. If the blackouts are because of a larger grid collapse, water pressure will begin to fail. Municipal water pumps require electricity or constant maintenance. Once that pressure drops, the water in your pipes becomes a finite resource. Second, the smell starts. The food in people's refrigerators is rotting. The scent of spoiled meat becomes the literal scent of the crisis. This is the day of the panic buy turned panic grab. People who waited are now desperate. They aren't looking for luxury items anymore. They are looking for anything that can sustain life.
This is when the first unauthorized entries into stores happen. If the police are overwhelmed or stayed home to protect their own families, the thin line between order and chaos snaps right here. Day 4 brings the pharmacy crisis. This is a detail most survival movies completely ignore. By day 4, it's not just about calories, it's about chemistry. Millions of people in modern society rely on daily medication, insulin, blood pressure meds, anti-seizure drugs, or even antidepressants. When the pharmacies stay locked for 4 days, a massive portion of the population enters a state of medical emergency or withdrawal. Desperation turns into raw aggression. A father who has never committed a crime in his life will break a window or fight a stranger to get medicine for his sick child. This adds a layer of unpredictable, frantic energy to the streets. At the same time, the urban exodus begins. Those with bug-out bags or family in the country start trying to leave the cities, turning the highways into massive, immobile parking lots. By day 5, we enter the information blackout. The physical infrastructure is decaying rapidly. If the power hasn't stayed on, cell phone towers are dying. Most towers have backup batteries or generators that only last for a few days. The silence is the most terrifying part. Without the internet, social media, or news, rumors become truth. You don't know if the next town over is burning or if help is 5 miles away. This lack of information forces people to form groups for survival. While some form neighborhood watches to protect their homes, others form predatory groups to find resources. In the vacuum of authority, the strongest or most organized groups take control of the streets. If you are standing alone on day 5, you are a target. Day 6 is the sanitation trap. Cities start to smell. Without trash pickup and with failing sewage systems, the threat shifts from violence to disease. In a world without stores, a simple cut on your hand becomes a potential death sentence. You can't just walk to the corner and buy a tube of antibiotic ointment or clean bandages. Historical data shows that in collapses, more people die from waterborne diseases like dysentery than from violence. Waste begins to pile up, attracting rodents and insects. The modern world is suddenly stripped of its hygiene, and the biological clock of humanity starts ticking backward toward the 1800s. Every choice you make, how you handle waste, how you treat your water, becomes a life or death decision. Day 7 is the new normal. 1 week in, the buildings are no longer buildings. They are empty shells, stripped to the concrete floors. The casual looters, those looking for televisions or sneakers, are gone. Only the serious scavengers remain. On day 7, you see a clear divide in the population. The unprepared are weak, dehydrated, and waiting for a savior that may never come. They are visible, loud, and desperate. The prepared, however, have gone gray. They are not showing lights at night. They are not cooking smelling food that might attract unwanted attention. They are hunkered down, staying silent, and waiting for the first wave of chaos to burn itself out. 1 week has transformed society from a complex web of commerce into a simple game of calorie management and security. 7 days. That's all it takes for a modern metropolis to turn into a medieval struggle for survival. The stores didn't just sell us food, they sold us the illusion of safety. Now that the shelves are bare, the only thing that matters is what you did before the doors locked. The question isn't, what will you do on day 8? The question is, if this happens tomorrow, do you even have what it takes to make it to day 3? The first week after the stores close isn't a test of your expensive gadgets, it's a test of your systems and your psychology. Survival isn't about owning a cool knife, it's about having a way to filter water when the tap goes dry. It's about having a 30-day supply of food that doesn't require a refrigerator. It's about knowing your neighbors well enough to know who to trust and who to watch out for. We live in a fragile window of history where everything we need is provided for us by someone else, but that window can close at any time. Don't let the closed sign on a store be the end sign for your family. If you want to know exactly how to build a 7-day emergency pantry on a budget so you never have to join the panic, watch our next video. We break down the exact items that will keep you alive when the rest of the world is starving. Stop buying gear and start building your insurance policy. Stay safe, stay prepared.